Hey everybody, this is Paul from Graphical, and today we're going to be looking at a tutorial for the attitude indicator. So how we animate it within PowerPoint. So what I'm going to do is just start off is just have a nice new slide. So you can see it goes white there. I don't need that, so I'm going to delete the holders on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a color as well. I don't want it white, so I'm just going to give it the same color as I had in my first slide. I'll explain why I've put a colored background on this just in a minute. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to insert our graphics. So we're going to go pictures and just navigate to where you've put the images on your computer. So I'm going to select background, and you see it inserts it dead center into the slide. And again, what I'm going to do is insert the background, also the inner. And I say because they're both sized exactly the same and centered, they'll sit on top of each other in the correct position on the slide. Now you can see we haven't got them in the correct order. Now that should be behind the back, so that's quite easy. Just like we have in the other tutorials, we're going to go to home and we're going to go to the select there, and we're going to go selection pane. And what that allows us to do is bring up the selection pane, which is like the layers palette within Photoshop and other things. So what I can do now is I can move these two elements on different layers. So I'm just going to quickly name them. So this one here is the face of the instrument, so I'm just going to give that a quick name. So face just makes it easier for me when I'm moving things around, so I know what it is. And this one is the back. So now what we've got is the face and back. And now if I move the face underneath back, you can see the instrument looks like it should. So I'm just going to select everything and just quickly move it and just position it a little bit better on the slide. So now we've got everything unpositioned. We can look at animating. Now the easiest way to animate within PowerPoint for the instrument is using the Morph Transition. So all you guys with Office 365 subscriptions, or the PowerPoint 2016 I think has got it too, we can use this Morph Transition, and you can see what it does is when it transitions between slides, it allows you to animate elements on the screen very easily. So this is what we're going to look at first. So quickly, I'm just going to select Control D, and I'm just going to duplicate that slide 3 or 4 times. Alright, so all I've done is duplicate them, and I'm going to go transitions now and select Morph on these slides here. So this one here, transition morph, and this one here, transition morph. So now I've got a morph transition on these 3 slides. So on this one here, what I'm going to do is in my selection pane, I'm going to select face, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to move the face. Alright, so I'm going to give it a slight right wing down, and what I'm going to do is just possibly move it up. Oh, see, that's why we use the selection pane. And what I'm going to do is just move it up. So I use the arrows on the keyboard, and I can move it up like that. So what will happen is if I select Shift and F5 to play the presentation from the current slide, you can see what happens is if I press forward, you can see now it animates because of that transition. So what I need to do is, for the next one, I'll just keep it as it is. So let's run through the slide again, Shift F5. So now animates up, next one animates back into position. So you can see how very quick and easy it is to animate with the Morph slide transition. Now what I'm going to do is just quickly move that down. Oh, so just to simulate a nose, nose down. There we go. So again, Shift F5, so gives us a slight right wing down and nose up, back to the middle, and you can see now it moves down. So that is a very, very quick and easy way of using PowerPoint to animate the attitude indicator by using the Morph transitions. It is the easiest way, but next I'm going to look at using the traditional animation tools. So okay, let's look at how we animate this using the traditional animation tools within PowerPoint. Now we're going to look at how we spin it left and right, and then after that we're going to combine a few movements. So first thing we're going to do is go to animations, and we're going to select the face. Okay, sorry, animations again, and we're going to add an animation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the spin, the good old spin, and what you'll see is it spins like that. Now if you want to animate the aircraft spinning out of control, that's a good one to do, but what we can do is just bring the animations panel up, and we can then modify that animation. So if we got effect options, what we can do is, I'll just bring that across there so you can see it. We can select the spin. So what I'm going to do is just select a 20 degrees. Okay, so press enter to accept that. So I'm going to make it spin 20% clockwise. I'm going to put a little bit of a smooth start and end, which just makes the animation look a bit nicer. What I'm going to do is go timing, and we'll keep, in fact no, I'm going to do 3 seconds. So I'm going to add 3 there, and again press return, and what that will do is it allows us to have an animation which then simulates a right wing down situation. So if we go effect options again, just to just do a few bits and pieces. So I'm just going to select auto reverse because I want this to go back to the middle once it's finished. Okay, so so you can see now once it plays, it goes back to the middle there. So spinning the instrument is really easy. So if I wanted to add another one, so I'll just select face again, go animations. I'm going to select add animations to that element again, and again what I'm going to do is go for a spin, and again effect options, and this time I'm going to do 20 degrees anti-clockwise, so counterclockwise. So select that one down like that, 20 return, give it a bit of smooth start, smooth end, auto reverse, and timing again we're going to go for 3 seconds and press OK. So let's have a look at that. So now when I shift F5 to run this slide, so now when I click through it, we should have some nice animations of it rolling, right wing down and left wing down. Okay, so that is fairly straightforward how we animate it as a roll. So let's look at now how we animate the instrument with a nose up and nose down attitude. So we're going to move it up and down. Now let's look at the face, and if I was to use my up and down arrows just to move it, you can see I can move it up and down, so therefore I'd be able to animate that. One of the problems we've got though with PowerPoint is you can see if I animate it a bit further, you can see the face is visible behind the instrument, and that's not what we want. But unfortunately with PowerPoint, it doesn't have a masking system as such. It's not like with Photoshop where you can add a mask to prevent it being seen on different elements. You can't do that in PowerPoint, so we've got to do a workaround. Now the way we get around that in PowerPoint is to do a bit of a fudge. So what we're going to do is insert a shape, and I'm going to insert a rectangle. I'm just going to draw a rectangle about there, and you can see that will give me a colored rectangle. I'm just going to format that shape now, and I'm going to go format, and I'm going to select the same color as the background of the slide. So you can see now why I chose a solid color. I'm going to give it no line, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to select Control D to duplicate that one, and I'm going to move it down there. So you can see what we've done is we've kind of made a kind of mask. So if I were to select the face now, and I'm going to move it up and down, you can see those elements, those rectangles now prevent the back of the instrument showing there, which is what we want. So all we've got to do now is just put the back of the instrument at the front of the stack of layers there, and you can see now when I again grab that face and move it up and down, it doesn't pop out the bottom of the instrument because of those colored rectangles we've put in there. So it's a bit of a fudge, but it does work for this instrument. And again, we work with what we've got in PowerPoint because it's not the most what I'd say complex graphics tools, but it does the job incredibly well. So let's get rid of that format box there for a minute, and let's look at how we animate that face up and down. So let's go to animations, and I'm going to add an animation to that face. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a motion path. Now you can see once I've added that, it will move the instrument down. Okay, it's a bit too much, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that line, okay, and I'm just going to move it up a little bit like so. Okay, and that's about as much as I want to take it. So now, actually, I'm just going to move that max down a bit so it doesn't show off the bottom as well. So now if I select Shift and F5, when I click through the animation now, you can see it moves down, nice, lovely, but you can't see it underneath the instrument, which is exactly what we want. So I'm just going to go to that animation again, animation page, and I'm just going to put the animation pane up there. So I'm going to go to effect options. I'm going to look at timings as well. So I'm going to look at an auto reverse. So you can see it's put a smooth end, smooth start on it, and it's just basically on the timer. I'm just going to keep it to 2 seconds just to make things easy. So now when I press OK, you can see it'll animate down and animate back up. So that's pretty uber cool. So what we can do now is we can select that face again, and again animations, and we're going to select another path. So add animation there on the same element and go for a line again, and this time we're going to animate it up. So again, I'm just going to select that red dot there to move the motion path, and I'm going to select it up like that. If you hold down Shift, it'll allow you to move it up and down in a straight line. So I'm just going to position that there, and again, let's go to that options, and we're just going to auto reverse that one and keep the timing at 2 seconds. If we go OK now you can see we can then look at it. Shift F5, one click down, one click up. So you can see how easily we can animate that up and down. And again, if you want, we can even look at putting a spin on that one. So we can go face, and we can still add animations. So add an animation there, and what we're going to do is we go for a spin. And again, what we can do is effect options, and again, just put a smooth start, smooth end on all of them. Custom 20 degrees, okay. And then what we can do is we can auto reverse that as well to match the up and down motion. So if we go there and go OK, so again, we can use the traditional tools to animate it wing down as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select with previous. Okay, so what I want to do when it animates downwards or up, whatever it was, I want it to wing down as well. So now if we Shift F5, you can see it goes down, and then next one it actually tilts and goes up as well. So you can, with the traditional animation tools, combine these ones to move it wherever you want. Okay, so anyway, hopes that has give you some ideas on how we can animate the attitude indicator, and thanks very much for your purchase. It's much appreciated.